Hey everybody, Scout Crafter here again. Spring is officially sprung. You can see here all the buds have turned to new budding leaves. It's just a beautiful day out here, and I don't want to be out down the basement too long. When it gets this nice, I want to do quick projects and be outside and enjoy this weather. So let's get downstairs and see what we got today. Now on YouTube there are hundreds of thousands of people that have videos out there, and it's amazing because I always find it cool that you found me pretty much by accident, because being that I'm not monetized, which it means I don't have advertisements or anything like that, you found me kind of by accident, or you were searching for something and you came across it. That's what I find so interesting. And, when you're monetized, they tend to put you in suggestion boxes on the side there, videos, and, they're a lot more predominant. You'll see, so if I would have had ads, it pays for YouTube to advertise me. So that's, I guess, why I'm always more appreciative of the people that we have, our group, I call it, because we're all in this. We kind of found each other. You found me through something, and we all have that same interest. But there are the big guys in YouTube, like the A-Bomb, and Keith Fenner, and Mr. Pete, and this old Tony, and all the big guys, and these are guys that they have, that they're, hundreds of thousands plus subscribers, and they have some really great content, and I subscribe to them, I watch them, but, and then there are the little guys like me, and Joe Shop, and 357 Magdad, and TD, and Ben, and we all have smaller channels, and we kind of have our own. Now, when I first got into it, I was watching the big guys, as I still do, but they're a little bit more complicated, and that's why I started this channel. I want to start it for more or less, kind of people that are just getting into it and kind of break it down a little bit, especially for younger people or people that never did anything before, because those guys, they're starting off. You kind of have to have a little bit of a knowledge before you can understand what they're doing. But Tom Lipton, Tom and I, a long time ago, I was, really involved in his channel, and I had a couple videos that I was featured in on his channel from sending stuff in. But Tom had something that was on his channel that I saw, and I said, I gotta get this thing, and let me show you what it is. Okay, this is it. What this is, it's called a Morgan Nokker, and Morgan is a manufacturing company out in California, and they still are in business today. It's an old-fashioned, this is like one of them private companies that, you used to see years ago, and like I said, they're still in business. They still work out of a small factory, and this is the type of equipment that they make, and it's almost like a slap hammer. Remember those from years ago for working on cars? Well, it's like a slap hammer on steroids. It's a big weight that runs across a pipe, and it's all hardened steel and everything. And they have these accessories. And, for the average person, you figure, what are you going to use it for? But that's, sometimes I like tools just because they're a strange tool. And let me show you what you can do with this device. Now, for those of you that have never seen a slap hammer or have no idea what it is, there's a handle here. This handle screws onto the bottom of the unit, and you can see here how they put their address and their name, everything stamped on there. Pretty cool. Same thing with when they're casting the weight, it's already in there, so you could tell they've been in that location for a long time. But it's nothing more than a weight that slides up and down on a pipe, and it gives you tremendous force. Now, at the other end, the business end here, is a thread, you can see here, and that's where you put all your accessories on. Now, a typical slap hammer has this special type screw. It's a hardened screw, and you can see here, it's just like there's a little flange here, and what happens is you put this here like this, tighten this down, and the screw is captive in here. And now this goes on the end of the slap hammer. If you have a dent in a piece of metal, what you do is you drill a series of holes, you screw this into the holes, and you slap it out, and you pull the dent out for it that way, and then sand it down. You could either weld it or bondo it or whatever, but that's basically how a slap hammer works. Now, if you're a professional body person or somebody that does body work all the time, you'll know that all these hooks and everything have certain applications that you could use. If you had to pull, if a door was dented, you can use something like this and clip it around the door and slap it that way and pull it that way. There's little hooks that you can get in if you have to get behind something and pull. So that's what all these basic accessories do. There's always more than one way to perform an operation, but if you keep this tool in the back of your mind, the slap hammer, like let's say I was working on some construction, I needed to move this whole bench over a little bit, you could take this part here and put it around an edge of something, and then using the slap hammer, you can see, I mean, extremely easy. And you could move areas and chain. They have chain hoist, and there's all kinds of things you could do. Now, how many instances have you ever come across where you needed something pulled or something just shimmed over a little bit? You put this padded hook on, and very easily you can pull, shim, or it's one of these tools that's fun to use, but you just got to keep it in your tool repertoire. Now here's an accessory that I'm dying to use. I still haven't come up with something to use it, but this is their BS14, I believe, accessory. But what that is you take a pair of vice grips, and you see this little nut back here. Well, this slips right into there. So now you can use this. Anything that you can clamp onto, you can use the slap hammer to pull it out. Now, the beauty of this unit is, let's say you had a fastener or something you had to pull out that you couldn't use a pry leverage. Let's say all this was, you didn't want to mar this area. What you would do is you would take your vice grip and you would lock it onto that, whatever that fastener was in there. And then you could just take your knocker and put it over here and just slap it out. And you see how quick and easy that works. So there we have our Morgan knocker, and I wish I could say I used it more, but this is so much fun to use. It's up there on par with using the dake and the lathe. It's just a lot of fun. I have to come up with more stuff to use it on, but I think it's such a cool little tool. That's why I had to have it. So I just thought I would show that. Okay, now lastly, a couple people were asking me about the wrench we did the other day. A couple people were worried about the rust and how that works in. This is an ongoing question. Let me demonstrate something. Almost every video I get people asking me, how do I keep my stuff from not rusting up? Because, you polish it and you're taking it down to steel, and it's a good question. And I want to show you something. Here is a piece of aluminum, and this is untreated, untouched, and you can see the finish here, right? Now I'm going to dip it in water. This is regular water. Now I want you to look. That whole piece here is wet. This whole bottom is wet down to the bottom, just from a quick dip in there. And that's because this is untreated, unpolished, and there's all little pores and things, and this is how rust starts. Although you don't have to worry with aluminum, you won't have that problem. Here is a wrench we did the other day. This is the one I just polished. Now watch what happens when I put it into the water. Okay, dipped into the water. Now look at that. There's a little droplet of water there. It's bone dry. Why is that? Because water can't, it's such a polished surface that water doesn't even stick to it, and that's just by using the polishing system. There it is. You get a little bit of water there, and all you have to do, if your wrench gets wet or something, just a quick wipe off, and that's it. That's why polished surface, don't really rust up, because it's polished, it's waxed, and it resists water. Now here is a pair of pliers. This was my great-grandfather's pliers. I didn't do an over-the-top restoration, but what I did was I just cleaned them up. They were brown like all the other, the patina and everything. Now I'm going to dip these. Now these haven't been touched in months, okay? Now I'm going to dip them in water here. You can see. Just give it a quick wipe off. Now you can see a couple beads of water. If you just give it a flip like this, look at that. All comes off virtually bone dry. Over there, those dips of water, if you have any kind of moisture that builds up on your tool, then you just give it a wipe off, a quick wipe off, and that tool will stay rust free. Again, in my environment. Now, if you live in a salt area, like I know Joe from Joe's shop, he lives right near the water, and it's salt water, and he has a rough time keeping salt off his and rust and corrosion off, but here I don't have that problem, especially in a heated shop or a warm climate controlled area. But the polish really stops any kind of moisture from sticking, and if moisture don't stick, rust won't form up. If it comes off, if it looks like that's beaded, that's fine. But if it comes out like this, where you have a sheet of water and everything is wet, that's going to lead, there's all kinds of micro pits in there and everything where rust could form up. Again, not on aluminum. Now, after I polish my tools, I always give them a coat of Mother's California Gold. This is a cleaner wax, and it is a beautiful wax. It goes on nice. This is what I use for tools. And the reason I use this, not so much for protection, but because it stops the fingerprints. You don't get as many fingerprints when you do something like that. Whereas if you, right off the straight, when you do it a buffing, you do tend to get a little bit of fingerprints. But this stuff is great, I swear by it, especially for tools. It really, it helps clean it and puts a coating of wax. So I hope that helped out, and thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you have a nice day. Take care now. Bye-bye.